So hey guys, how you doing? It's DJ AJ here today on a lovely Sunday afternoon up here in Wisconsin. As you can see, I'm ready for the Packer game. Packers taking on the Bears here this afternoon, and I'm sure you already know who I'm going to be rooting for, being from Wisconsin and all, but should be a great game. NFL on Fox, can't wait. But I wanted to make a quick video before the game here this afternoon, talking about the, as you can see from the title, the new Apple television, the Apple TV box with Siri remote control. And the reason I wanted to make this video is because I'm indifferent about it. I really am, because on the one hand, it's a very good device, but there are other devices that kind of take the same context. I believe the Roku, does voice search, like the Siri remote control on the new Apple TV, as well as the Amazon Fire TV stick, taking some points from that. So it's a device that looks like it's going to be better, which is fantastic. And introducing the App Store to the Apple TV, I think, is going to be a big plus, especially when you combine the voice search of all your subscription services like your Hulu, your Netflix, the iTunes Store, for your video content, and, bring games to the Apple TV. That might be a very interesting concept. But I think what I'm having a hard time grasping is the fact that the Apple TV is future forward looking, but it's kind of, at least it feels to me, maybe it feels to you guys as well, that Apple recently, over the past couple of years, has been announcing products that aren't exactly quite ready. And it seems like they're trying to get them to market, maybe to get some marketing for the developers, in this case for the Apple TV, to say, hey, we're going to have apps. And hopefully, content providers, because that was one of the things that was noticeably missing, was Apple's, rumored TV service, which is going to bring, live television, so I could watch ESPN, NFL Network, AMC, all these live channels on your Apple TV, and kind of do like an a la carte thing. I've always, really, really wanted that, and I'm sure that's what everybody wants too. They want to be able to cut the cable cord, just to have internet access and be able to stream your paid subscription, so you can do like an a la carte of 5 to 10, 20 channels, whatever it is. And then obviously they're moderate, they're reasonably priced, like it's $1.50 a channel or something like that. I think that'd be even more than what a lot of the other cable companies are paying, all these content providers as well, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I have no facts to back that up, so don't quote me on that, but that's kind of what my train of thought is. So but getting back to my point, it was all about, the fact that Apple, even if you look back to like the newest version of iOS, and I think this is kind of where my thought kind of started with this was, if you look when they revamped iOS from iOS 6 to iOS 7, iOS 7, I really don't believe, after using, I had an iPhone back in 2010, so I used iOS 4, 5, and 6, and I thought they were all really, really rock solid. Obviously not completely feature rich like iOS 7 and iOS 8 have been for developers and obviously user features, but I at least had the idea that they were a rock solid release. My phone Springboard wouldn't reload and crash down, and all these other little UI hiccups. I mean, there's still a UI hiccup if you look on the iPad as an example, where if you're multitasking and you're double tapping the home button to see all of your applications, and you're sliding across to see all your open apps, and you tap on the app maybe before it stopped or maybe even just after it stopped, and the app comes up, and it's almost like the new feature of the iPad where you can split screen it, where half the app is on this side, half the app is on this side, and it'll think for a second, no wait, you want this app, and then it'll come down, and then you can use it. Really, really laggy and buggy, and I've noticed that for the past 2 years. It's been a bug for 2 years in iOS and iOS 7 and iOS 8. Who the heck knows if it's going to be fixed in iOS 9? Maybe you guys know if you've been developing, and I've done a clean install and everything, so maybe that's just me, but I'm sure a lot of other people have noticed it too. Just ask a lot of other tech guys. But it was a very unfinished mobile operating system, which is very, very unlike Apple, especially when it comes to their main products like the iPhone and the iPad. The iOS software in general was always rock solid ever since the first iPhone. And I was always joking, blah 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 blah. iOS 7 and iOS 8 were worse than the original iPhone OS, which is kind of funny to say, and maybe a lot of people would agree, but that's how I felt about it. It just felt like it was a rock solid start for Apple, and then when they revamped everything, excuse me, kind of made everything and when iOS 7 and 8 came out, it was just like, wow, what the heck is going on here? But hopefully iOS 9 is better. Can't wait for the release next week. And then they came out with the Apple Watch late last year. And a lot of people are saying that, the iOS watch was a bit better than everything else, like Android Wear and, the other competition that was on the market. But it didn't seem like it was leaps and bounds better. Like when the iPad first came out, the iPad was leaps and bounds better than any other tablet. The iPhone came out, it was leaps and bounds and way ahead of any other smartphone. And it just seems like the product releases lately have kind of been in that pattern, and now the same looking forward toward the new Apple TV, where it's like, I believe they could have made a game-changing product. It could have been an Apple TV with app support like it is right now with the Siri remote control to search across your Netflix, your Hulu, and everything else. But imagine if they would have had TV content to go along with that, where it's like, well, you can do a la carte now. You can subscribe to your channels and everything else. And that, I'm sure that's eventually going to be coming. I have no question in my mind, but it just seemed like a very lackluster release, because it seems like, let's push it out the door before we have it ready, because we got to start making money on this. It seems like it's been more money focused, which is obviously the goal of any company. But it seems like Apple in the past, before the past couple of years, has always been focused on the fine details. Now, could that be because Steve Jobs isn't there anymore? I think for some reason, a little bit in my mind and deep in my soul, I believe that is a little bit of the reason for this, just because it seems like Steve Jobs would have said, we're not going to ship this piece of junk with that piece of crap on it until it looks and feels the way that we want it to be, because we are perfectionists and we want it to be the absolute best, period. We're not shipping it until it's ready. But of course, Steve Jobs is also, rumored to announce, like iCloud and everything, and it wasn't 100% up to par either. Of course, looking at Mobile Me, that whole debacle. So it's not like Apple's done it in the past, but it's very, very seldom, I think, where they ever do that with like physical products, where they're not quite up to snuff and up to par. And another thing I was going to say about the Apple TV, not just having like a la carte content channels, but just think of how revolutionary it would have been, or it could be, if Apple says, we have this entire iTunes store filled with TV shows and movies. How about for $40 or $50 a month, you can a la carte, or not a la carte, but you can, like what you can do on Netflix, you can watch anything you want for $50 a month. You can watch the new releases, you can watch the old releases. New episode of The Walking Dead comes out, and you would have to normally pay $2 to watch it the day after. You can a la carte that as well. You can watch that on this paid subscription model, just like Netflix would, but we're going to charge you like 5 times more, but you're going to be able to watch this and not have to pay for each individual episode. I think that would be a complete and utter game changer if Apple can make that happen. I really wish that they would have put both of those into the new Apple TV, and maybe that will be coming, and I'm sure they're working on something like that. But imagine if Apple would do the same what they with like Spotify and everybody else did for music, with that subscription model where you're just going to subscribe and listen to whatever you want. Imagine if you could subscribe and watch whatever you wanted from the iTunes store. Which, like I said, new episodes coming out the day after they air. That would be phenomenal. I think that'd be a game changer, and Apple would probably be the only one that would be able to do that, because they really have the content deals in place. It's just a matter of convincing these big companies, the big multimedia creators out there, that this is the way to go in the future. But we'll see if that happens. But I want to know if you guys disagree with me. Like I said, this isn't supposed to be a technical, all put together video. I just wanted to kind of ramble off some of my thoughts about the Apple TV and kind of get your guys' thoughts and opinions on it. I mean, are you ecstatic by the Apple TV that literally the only thing that it's different, from the only big thing that's different from it is that it's going to have an app market, and it's now going to have Siri command and control, which looks pretty good, that you can now voice search everything. And like I said, great technology, but could it have been more? Would it have been better for Apple to wait? And do you guys agree, about the iOS and the Apple Watch thing, that Apple's kind of gotten to this thing where they push themselves to release things before they're done, like with Watch OS 1 and Watch OS 2, it probably should have native app support from the very beginning, and it never did, and that kind of, snuffed some people's opinions on it, because it was slow at this and it was slow at that, and I've never owned one, so I can't personally comment on that, but I've heard from a lot of other people that that was kind of the case. So it was, you know, more of the lag that was kind of the problem, because you had to always have it tied to your phone to run certain apps and whatnot. But let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments below my face right here in the video, just in the comments below. Love to hear what you guys think. Also, feel free, if you like my content, like my little rants and everything else that I'm up here about, my reviews and whatever else I do on my channel, please feel free to hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button as well. Like my videos, I always appreciate that if you guys happen to. And feel free, like I said, to check out my other videos. I make more than just this. This is just kind of an off-topic video. I've been trying to do more of these vlogging-ish style videos, just of stuff that's on my mind and stuff that I kind of thought in the event. But no, I was kind of disappointed by the Apple TV. I really thought it could have been more, and to me it was just kind of something that says, hey, screw it, it's been too long, we got to release something. And I don't know, that never seemed to be, you know, to me, the Apple model when Steve Jobs was around, but it seems to be a lot more noticeable when Tim Cook is now at the helm. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Very much appreciate you guys checking out this video, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Go Pack Go, and hope to see you guys in the next one. Have a great one till then, guys.